Campaign is posting strong fundraising and viewership numbers after the convention. The campaign says about $70 million was raised during the four-day DNC. Officials also say more than 122 million people watched the convention. Between the convention and a visit from both the president and vice president, the state of Wisconsin was the political capital of the country this week. Both sides are trying to win your vote, but Amy Reed separates the truth in this News 3 Now reality check.
Politicians made a lot of claims this week, so let's get right into it.
5 million Americans infected by COVID-19. More than 170,000 Americans have died. By far the worst performance of any nation on earth.
Joe Biden is misleading here. The U.S. does lead the world in number of cases and number of deaths, but compared against population, the U.S. is 12th in deaths per 100 confirmed cases and 5th in deaths per capita. But that data also makes this claim from Trump false.
But we're doing great coming back. We're coming back, and our numbers are better than almost all countries.
And
swine flu, though. Look at his ratings in Gallup. Check them out. They gave them really bad ratings.
That one is also false. For one, Biden didn't head up the H1N1 response. Two, Gallup actually found in May of 2009, 74% of Americans were confident the federal government could handle the outbreak. That fell to 60% in August 2009.
And getting rid of the protections that President Obama worked so hard to get passed for people who have 100 million more people who have pre-existing conditions.
This is true. In June, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to strike down the Affordable Care Act, which is what protects coverage for pre-existing conditions.
And we can pay for these investments by ending loopholes, unnecessary loopholes, and the president's $1.3 trillion tax giveaway to the wealthiest 1% and the biggest, most profitable corporations, some of which do not pay any tax at all.
This is true. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 actually gave $1.5 trillion to corporations in the form of tax cuts. And a report from left-leaning Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy, which analyzed Security and Exchange Commission's data, found 60 Fortune 500 companies paid no federal taxes. And Fox Business found before this year, Amazon hadn't paid federal taxes in 3 years.
He's proposing to eliminate a tax that pays for almost half the Social Security.
This is true. It's part of the executive order he signed when Congress couldn't agree on more relief.
Trump has lost 250,000 manufacturing jobs.
This is misleading. To date, the country has lost about 272,000 manufacturing jobs. But before the pandemic, the country had gained 460,000 since Trump took office. And looking at Wisconsin, this one from Trump before the pandemic is true.
We created 15,000 Wisconsin manufacturing jobs. Everybody said that would be impossible.
We've added more jobs back to this economy in 3 months than Joe Biden and Barack Obama added to our economy in 8 years.
This one is misleading for part. That job increase mostly accounts for people coming back to work after a COVID layoff, but the rest is false. This is still fewer than the 11 million jobs added over the Obama administration.
Joe Biden would raise taxes by $4 trillion.
This one is mostly true. Biden's tax plan shows an increase of almost $4 trillion, the majority targeting high earners and corporations. But this analysis found most other groups would see increases of 0.2 to 0.6%.
And his new running mate was one of only 10 senators to vote against the USMCA.
This one is true. For her reasoning and to see the sources for all of these claims, head to our website, channel3000.com. For this News 3 Now reality check, I'm Amy Reed.
And Amy will have full coverage of the RNC next week, breaking down the week's events. You can also catch live coverage all week long on our Channel 3000 Facebook page.
Wildfire